Okay, hi YouTube. This is my favorite game of the tournament. This was played against the same master that I had beaten in regular over the board the same week. This is like the most insane quick game ever played, alright? Like this was, I'm still so shocked at how like I was actually able to calculate quickly and accurately. It's insane. Sorry for the squeakies. Okay. Alright, so I have the white pieces. So I play d4, d5, c4, e6. I was pretty happy because this means I get to do my good old Catalan. I've only I don't know theory here. I know a few of the main lines. A little bit. Thankfully, that was a lot more than my opponent knew. So bishop e7, bishop g2, castles, castles, queen c, or d takes c, sorry, and queen c2. So this is all theory. The main move here is a6, which is what he played. And the main move after a6 is a4. Now, I was still in theory at this point. Bishop d7, queen takes c4, bishop c6. And now I play bishop g5, which is the main move currently. My opponent told me that this is not good, and my opponent was wrong. I told him that it was theory. I believe in my book it actually says the line with bishop g5 is as old as the line itself. So it's kind of where the line starts after bishop g5. And the line I remembered was bishop d5, queen c2, bishop e4, queen c1. The old move was queen d1, but I think someone pointed out why not keep some control over the c file or something. Leave the square for the rook. So I was aware of the idea of playing queen c2 to c1, misplacing the bishop, okay? But my opponent played b5 here, which is not a move I had ever seen. So I kind of just tried to use as much logic as I could. Oh yeah, this loses a rook, by the way. Just for people who were wondering. So he's attacking my queen, just like in the line with bishop d5. And in that line, you play queen c2. So I thought for a while, I was like, is there a reason I shouldn't play queen c2? And I couldn't find a reason. So I played queen c2. I was very curious if b5 was a move and if there was a refutation to it. The answer is that there's not really a refutation. It's just a bad move. It's extremely weakening, but there's no immediate refutation. It's just bad. So I kind of just played exactly how I should. So queen c2, bishop e4, and queen c1. And this is a good way to play. So it's very similar to the other position, except he has b5 in, which is not necessarily a good thing for my opponent, because the more weaknesses he has on the queen side, the more difficult the Catalan pressure is going to be to answer. But I still had that self-doubt of maybe he knows this and I don't. Maybe I am losing. I was never worse in this game, I don't think, but I had convinced myself that I was losing. So, knight c6, and in the line without b5, where they just play bishop d5, queen c2, bishop e4, queen c1, I believe the move there after knight c6 is rook d1. I'm not entirely sure. It seems like it makes sense to me. I played rook d1. It's definitely not the best. I should probably just play knight c3 and develop. I'm not sure I completely understand why there's such a big discrepancy in the evaluation between rook d1 and knight c3. Because it says rook d1, white is a little better, and knight c3, white is just better. Plus 1.2 here and plus 0.6 here. So let me try and figure this out. Rook d1, bishop takes f3. He can do this? Really? This looks bad. Huh. If I go king g2, he has c5. A takes b. What? How is black not, like, close to loss here? Knight d5. Oh. It's a good move. Yeah, that's really annoying. It says I should do this here, which is a little bit surprising to me. But yeah, I guess a queen has to go to c8. White is better here. I don't know. The depth of 24 doesn't mean much. I'm sure if it gets to a depth of like 40, it's like over +1 here. I would be shocked if it's not. Looks like a terrible position. Anyway, there's nothing really wrong with rook d1. It's just for some reason it's knight c3 prevents this because of why. Okay, it just wants me to do this, which I don't really want to do. But I have queen f4. Okay, yeah, everything's falling apart. I get it now. Yeah, it just works. Okay. Yeah, if I can help it, I don't really like giving up my light squared bishop for a rook unless it's just winning clearly to me. Well, okay, rook d1 is fine. Probably analyzed that position too much for a quick game. Let me see if I have my score sheets. See how much time. Okay, so move 13. I have 18 minutes and he has 18 minutes. We started with 24 each. It's a 5-second increment. Knight b4 is very aggressive. Knight d1 is a nice solid Catalan move. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. Sometimes I get upset when the computer's like tells me I'm stupid, but the computer's not that good. Okay, so yeah, knight b4, I kind of knew this was coming because of the last game we played and his just like unmatched, untamed aggression. It's nonsense. Like, just doesn't do anything. I just play knight c3. It's just best. Bishop c2. I played a lot of best moves in this game. Rook d2 and bishop b3. Bishop b3. I think the reason I won this game is because I kept using this way of thinking of, I know I didn't do anything wrong that broke chess principles or that doesn't fit in with the opening and the spirit of the position. So I can't be worse here. Even though I don't understand this position at all, I feel like I'm better, but I don't know. I think in the past that just being unsure would cause me to assume I'm worse. But I haven't done anything wrong. So why would I be worse? So white is like +2.5. I have done nothing wrong. Of course, my opponent thinks that he's winning here, which is insane. I was having trouble coming up with a move here. Like, I was finding a drawback to everything. But I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of good options. I went for what looked simplest to me, which was a takes b, and then just trading the rooks and playing knight takes b5. So this is fine. White is still better. But the best way to play is just playing knight e5. Or actually, what's more instructive to me, I think, is kind of shocking. Bishop takes f6 is good here. It's just something I don't think I would ever consider, because I'm just giving up a bishop for no reason. But after bishop takes f6, knight e5. If you think about it, knight on f6 was his best piece. And now he doesn't have this as a response. So like with simple calculation, you can figure it out. But in quick chess, where I'm just like trying to find quick candidate moves, bishop takes f6 didn't really cross my mind immediately. It does, it makes sense when I look at it, but I think the reason I didn't play this move was because of something like this. And I always have trouble deciding and evaluating when to play e4. I can never figure that out. Feels like it's almost never good, but sometimes it is. But what I did is fine. And I tried to go for a simple thing, but it ended up being the most complicated shit I've ever gotten in a chess game. Alright, guess what my opponent played here? I don't think you're gonna do it. I mean, maybe you will. I don't know. I found it pretty fucking shocking. This is a master, by the way. I think the Catalan boils down to a fight for the h1 a8 diagonal, quite often, so anything that strengthens that is thematic. Yeah. I just have that kind of like hammered into me that I need a really good reason to give up the bishop pair. It is a really good reason, but I like didn't think about it in the right way, that I'm stopping him from blocking off that diagonal. Like that line of thinking didn't happen. Queen e4 seems aggressive and bad. Think more aggressive and more bad. More aggression, more bad. Queen takes f3 is the only shocking move to you? Well, maybe it's because you haven't considered his move. More bad, or not quite as bad as queen a1. But you're so close. Alright. What is the most forcing move on the board? Knight a2. Attacking the queen. Okay. So knight a2 is bad, right? But it's complicated as fuck. This knight never leaves that square. Or maybe he does. Like once. And then gets immediately taken. But for the rest of the game, that knight is basically there. Which maybe helps you understand why a2 was a bad square for the knight. It makes a one-move threat on my queen. So it seems as though I have two reasonable options, but one seemed more reasonable to me. And I couldn't find a reason that I shouldn't do it, so I did it. So I took on c7. This is like... Okay. Apparently queen b1 is best. And the reason is I'm threatening bishop takes f6 followed by knight g5, winning the queen. Which is very thematic in the Catalan, like taking here and playing knight g5 when the queen is on c2. Didn't cross my mind to put it on b1, to be honest. It feels so passive. Like, okay, he just moves the queen. He just moves the queen. And then I'm supposed to know to play knight c3. Like, what? Okay, he can't take twice because of rook d3, but how am I going to find two retreating moves in a row that are good? Like, most of the time when you're playing a retreat, it's a mistake. So I tend to not go for retreats, you know? Unless I know that it's good. White is like almost +1 there. My move is like plus 0.3. Which is a weird... Not at all what I would expect this position to be. I thought I was much better. So there's like a fuck ton happening in this position. It's hard to know where to start. Black only has one good move to not be worse. And it was the move I was afraid of, but I also thought I was doing okay there. The retreats are helping me coordinate, yes, but in a quick game, like, that's so hard to convince yourself to do without knowing that it's good. Because it might not be, you know? Because most of the time going backwards is just bad. Yeah, knight d5. Knight d5, black is still worse, but again, he's clogging up that, he's plugging the holes, as you do in chess. And I saw that I had queen a5 here, and, you know, f6 doesn't work because of queen e6. And I evaluated this position as uncleared, which is basically, I refuse to evaluate this position, because I don't know what the fuck is happening. I couldn't put a whole lot of thought into what would happen here, because my opponent did not play that move. My opponent played bishop b4. And now I only have one move to keep the advantage, which I did not play. So, alright, he's attacking my rook. Sack the rook, bishops are too strong. I wonder if my move is a blunder. So I played knight e5. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna do a computer analysis after this game because I'm so curious. Knight e5 loses my advantage for like half a ply if he plays bishop d5. Which, to be honest, I didn't see. But how much time do I have? I don't know. This is not the right score sheet. Like 10 minutes. Sometimes a rule in chess sometimes is that diagonal retreats are the hardest moves to see. Half apply doesn't make any sense. You're absolutely right. By the way, the reason I said that, so the person I played in the first round, the one who said those weird things to me, we referred to him as Captain Half Ply because we joked that that's about as far as he can calculate, is half apply, which is half of a move. So, anyway. Okay, so bishop takes f6 is best. And after g takes f6, just rook d3. Again, I think, like, this position's very hard for me to understand. Maybe not all people, but for me. Okay, his knight is terrible. His king's kind of open. I have a passed pawn. That could be a factor at some point. His pawn structure's bad. I'm up a pawn. I'm up 2 pawns. Okay, I don't think I even realized that. That makes a lot more sense why this is so good for me. Like, I would think bishop d5 here is annoying, but I guess I'm just gonna go attack him. This is such a weird-looking position. It's just weird-looking. I can't even say that it's super complicated, but it's a position that I don't think has ever happened before. I can say that much. I don't know, this position is just so fucking bizarre to me. Because I have to be careful of my queen getting trapped at times, but also, it's like, I kind of didn't want to ever give up this bishop because I thought it was handy that I'm covering the c1 square. I thought that could be a factor at some point. Maybe I was just being too scared. But knight e5 and knight d5. This is the move I was expecting. It's looking pretty scary because my queen's running out of moves here, and he has like pieces all in the same area. Fortunately, I can play queen d7 though. He doesn't have this. And setting up a tactic at this point. See if you could see it coming. So, if he wants to take my rook, he can. But now I have 2 bishops, 2 pawns, and his knight is just horrible. And where is his compensation if he gives up one of his only pieces that were doing something? Weakens all the dark squares, maybe allows for an attack. So that would be pretty bad to take on d2. So black cannot take on d2. Other than that, next move I'm probably going to play rook d3 and just kick that bishop out. Now, my opponent played h6. Here's where it gets super complicated, and only best play wins here. My opponent evaluated this as black is winning, and I did for a second too. Until I found it. I feel like sometimes I get positions where it just looks like someone threw a bunch of chess pieces on the board, just randomly, and wherever they fall, that's the position I have to play, you know? So, white's a play and win here. I found this shit with 2 minutes on my clock. So I found the win, and I converted all with 2 minutes. I don't have the entire rest of the game, because I had to stop keeping score. But I can get to the position that's important. So, alright, what the fuck is happening? My rook's hanging, my bishop's hanging. My queen is, like, weird. This knight's really fucking weird. Someone suggests knight c7. Knight c7, queen c8 seems like an issue to me. And then both of these things are still hanging. Catalan is good at pro level, otherwise it's pure torture. I disagree. I think it's torture for people who don't enjoy using their brain. I am not one of those people, though. Okay, so let me walk you through my thought process here. I have 2 guys that are attacked, and I can't say both of them without making a move that does two things at once. Okay? Now this also involves, like, you have to see a tactical idea from afar to understand why you need to do this. But I'm a crazy fuck, so I saw it. So, remember how I said rook d3 was what I wanted to do? Because it forces bishop a4? Because he can't go here because that hangs his piece. Otherwise he has no squares. I mean, you can go bishop c2, but at that point, I might go rook f3. And that thought process might lead you to understand how weak the f-pawn is. And if the f-pawn is taken away, then the e-pawn is dead. Okay, so the knight on a2 is the downfall of this position. What's really helpful to know what a critical position is, what helps me is I have not done anything wrong when you just think about things in terms of general rules of chess, okay? But my opponent has. And my opponent's pieces are not happy where they are. So when your pieces are happy and your position is generally better, the tactics almost always will work out in your favor. So knight takes f7 is an idea I had seen from afar. Now, this doesn't work right away because after rook f7, queen e6, this is defended. So there's no real threat. But after rook d3, if he has to move off of this diagonal and play bishop a4 like in the game, now knight takes f7 is winning. So this piece is hanging, this piece is hanging, this piece is hanging, but white is winning because of his poorly placed pieces. Go me, I'm tall. I'm a very tall man. So yeah, I kind of, yeah, listen, I love being compared to tall because I do think that, like, just the way I evaluate positions, like, piece activity over and everything. Or as I call it, putting your opponent in the gimp suit is the best way I can help you visualize what I'm doing to this person. So a lot more work needs to be done here that I had to do in like a minute. So, like, if he goes bishop c2, I have rook f3. And yeah, I don't really need to explain why this is just dead lost. But if he takes my guy here, like, you have to evaluate this as well. I kind of just quickly evaluated it as I don't fucking know, but I feel like I'm winning, was my assessment. Because I feel like the light squared bishop was holding the whole position together. This is still a thing. The thing that makes bishop a4 so terrible is because not only is he leaving this important diagonal, but he's blocking the connection of the queen. So now the knight is not only stupid on a2, it's undefended. So knight takes f7. Let's go through all the possibilities here. So if he recaptures, queen takes e6, he can take my knight, but then bishop takes d5. And this is a deadly pin. Absolutely deadly. And I'm going to be left with, even if like a miracle happens and he equalizes in material, I'm just going to be up like 4 pawns. So this is not possible. So what about taking on g5, trying to grab some material? Well, still queen e6. And now he has to, like, be careful of... I would love to play g4 and, like, somehow do some sort of discovery and then mate somehow. Or even... I feel like a mate is coming in some way. I'm not exactly sure. Because if he just, like, takes my knight... Oh, this is just mate. This is just mate right away. So, like, yeah, I don't even know what he does. Yeah, that is, yeah. So, yeah, well, I mean, there's just nothing. What else? My opponent found the best move. The queen is kind of holding all these threats together. So if you get rid of the queen, then nothing is working. Therefore, queen c8. So queen c8. In these positions that are so sharp and tactical and dynamic, you have to always be doing more than one thing at a time. So queen c8 does many things. It defends e6, it gets out of this pin, and it threatens to trade the queens. Not good enough. So now I have to, like, reevaluate everything, okay? Because queen c8 crossed my mind during all this calculation, but I hadn't really decided what I was going to do, because it looked pretty good. And, you know, I didn't know that I was winning. I thought I might be lost, and that there was, like, a way to defend this. I just couldn't find it. But, okay, I take a little deep breath and a step back mentally. Move 23. This is not the right score sheet. I keep throwing the score sheets. So I take... And now I got like I have a big problem. So you can understand why I thought I might be losing here. I'm not. White is still better. Not winning. But okay, 1, 2, 3 pieces hanging. What to do? There's only one move to be winning. One move still secures like a little bit of an advantage. And then there's the move I played, which just equalizes. So if we count material, if we just take a step back and we count material, I'm up 3 pawns. But I have 3 pieces hanging. So knight f d6, I think, is the most natural move, and it's the move I played. I guess the question for me was between these 2 moves. And I pretty much immediately discounted knight b to d6, because like this feels way more loose over here. Like my knight on f7 feels just based on feeling, it feels loose. But this is actually more loose. I think he should just play bishop takes b5, and just go into this. And I don't even know what I do here. This is like another tough decision. He has a piece for 3 pawns, but like I either have to, like the pawn structure is so fucked up that I don't think I can make progress. And okay, this knight is good, so I might even have to do this shit. And like, I don't know. This bishop is kind of dominating this knight. This knight is bad, but it's not like I'm gonna make a pass pawn. So I would evaluate this as equal, but so this was a purely emotional decision to play this knight. Not really based in calculation. It's for the 55 months, Nicholas Tice. So the best move is actually knight b to d6, which I found pretty surprising. Not because of, like, based on anything except for feeling. It just feels wrong. I don't have any time to calculate anything, so I had to make an intuitive decision. But this is a position that it's just like so fucked up and weird and complicated to look at that your brain kind of shuts off as a defense mechanism to protect you from the thinking. It's like, I don't know, fuck it. Whatever, knight f d6. Even here I'm having trouble just understanding what's happening. Because I can't move either of these knights, because then it hangs the other one. My bishop is still hanging. If he takes my... Oh, but his rook's hanging. I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah. He has to move his rook. Then I have bishop h3. Bishop h3. Yeah, why am I not playing bishop h3? That, like, saves everything, again, because of the stupid knight on a2. Yeah, like, this looks so much better. So I was slightly worse for, like, another move. But he did not play correctly. He played rook c6, which was the move I was expecting. For some reason, neither of us even looked at this. We just didn't look at it. I don't know. Now I play bishop h3, which is incorrect. So I find this kind of shocking once again, but I should take on d5. It's just a hard thing for me to do as a Catalan player. This is just not a based fun thing to do. I don't have to do that. I have other good moves. None of the moves that are good make any sense to me, nor did they cross my mind at any point. The moves that are best are bishop d5, bishop e3, and bishop d2. which I didn't consider any of those, to be honest. Okay, like the 2 bishop moves make more sense considering that my bishop's attacked. But what now? Bishop f4. And I'm just like holding everything together like by some miracle. See, here's the problem. I saw that I wanted to play bishop f4 here, and I was like, oh, but he can just take it. And that was the end of my thought process. But just do this, and then here. Frankly ridiculous. Anyway, I played bishop h3. It seemed like it makes sense to me, because like this is a lot of things that he has to deal with. He takes on b5. If he takes here, I think he's just dead lost. So he takes my knight, and I take on e6 with check, which I was unsure about, but it's best. And then he played a shocking move. He played king f8. And like immediately I was like, doesn't that hang mate? Like, what? Doesn't that hang mate? It doesn't. I had to figure this shit out. I was like, oh, that's not checkmate. It really fucking looks like it walks into mate. With rook f3. So king f8 is a hideous blunder. White is apparently winning +4 here. But I have to calculate. I spent all my calculation energy on knight takes f7 though. And I was like, okay, instinctually rook f3 looks correct, so I played it instantly. And after knight f6, what to do here? My knight's hanging, his knight's hanging, my bishop's hanging. He has like pawn issues, but if I take twice, he has this, and it's like a fork. So go ahead. You have like 30 seconds. Evaluate and play the best move. Why is everything always hanging? Because peace activity. Or something. So it's white to play and win here. Go chat. Pause the video if you must. I use all of my time in every game I've ever played, even bullet. Bishop takes h6, like, I would like to, you know, but it doesn't. I actually thought, so the mate I thought I saw, by the way, was rook takes f6 followed by bishop h6. Checkmate! Except that he can play king e7. But it's so close, like, it's so annoyingly close to checkmate. Oh yeah, also this knight's hanging, I forgot to, or this bishop's hanging, I forgot to point that out. So I played bishop takes f6, which is correct. But now what? Rook takes f6. Well, he's not going to play king g7, he's going to play king e7, is the problem. King e7, and he's, like, touching 3 of my guys, and I would prefer that he touches none of them. Knight takes bishop here, is what I played. And then it's, like, equal. But I'm, like, slightly better. Yeah, he's tickling all of our friends here. He's tickling my children. It's not allowed. So this is like what I played. White is slightly better, and I feel like I thought I was winning. It's holdable, allegedly. But I could actually play rook takes f6, king e7, and now knight takes b5, hanging my rook. Hang another piece! Why would I not think of hanging another piece? Am I an idiot? It's because of the stupid knight on a2. Once again, ruining everything. Never put your knight on a2. It's always bad. Look how stupid that knight is. Because after king takes f6, I take here, and I have like 12 pawns for the exchange. But I just like saw king a7 and I just stopped looking. I was just like, ah, no. Mind you, all of this thought happened in like 20 seconds. So, knight takes b5, rook c1. Yeah, but the problem still presents itself. 12 pawns. Yeah, the knight on a1 is bad, but like, for some reason I feel like the knight on a2 is worse. At least in this position. The knight would at least be safe on a1. Okay, but I didn't see any of that. I was just like, I can't take here because he touches all my friends at the same time, and that's just too many. So I was like, I don't know, this looks pretty good. And I played e3, and I was like, this endgame looks like only I can win. So that's what I did. with best play, black holds, but I look at this stupid fucking knight. Like, look at it. I think part of me didn't want to take this because it was so bad. So it's gonna be a bit shaky from here. Like, there might be some moves that look obviously like they weren't played, but it's just to get to the next position that I remember. So this is, just ignore this, okay? Like, this was all played in a time scramble. I'm pretty sure these moves were right. I don't know about that one. I don't know what happened here. I'm pretty sure this is right. And then here is where I'm very confused as to what was happening, and there are going to be moves where I just outright hang a piece, but it's just to set up the position, so. Yeah, so this was the position that we arrived at somehow. Not through that move order. And I have no time. And my opponent played bishop d6, which immediately loses, and I was so happy because I had already thought about this, and this tactically fails. So I slammed this shit down. Like, I actually slammed the pieces because my opponent slams pieces. I had a 5-second increment. And it was quick chess, so I didn't have to keep score. And then rook e3 wins. So this I thought was pretty cool, because it's just like the game we played on Thursday, like with the passed pawn, and it's so fucking unlucky. So if he moves his knight, he tries to save his knight, I play e7 and his rook can't get back, and I just queen. So he has to give me a knight. And then this was an endgame that happened. Blah blah blah, something something. And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel. Someone filmed the rest of the game from this point. So we can just watch that instead of trying to recreate it. So yeah, this was played at IHOP, by the way, in case you were wondering. React channel. So you can kind of see what's going on. You can see the pawns, like, in the position that they were. I didn't hang my rook. He was threatening to take my rook. And then I'm picking at my arm like a monkey. And then Brian Wallace sits in front of the camera for the rest of the video. Here, I have to... I like how you can see that there were people, like, watching in the window here, because it's a private room. I like moving the king in a sassy way. I like that. It's fun. There was like 6 people watching through the window, and then like behind the camera there were 10 other people, by the way. So it was very tense. Anyway.